Now this is the really important part of making your risotto. You're going to add your broth by the cupful. So that's probably about 2 ladles. And you want to make sure that you stir your rice. And what this is doing now is it's going to start releasing the starches. We're wanting it to get a creamy texture, yet cook the rice. Now, how long this takes will be to your preference, because you may like it al dente, which is just a little bit crisper, or we like it softer, so it'll take a little bit longer to cook. Now, we've got our broth here, and I'll show you in just a moment when to add more. You'll be adding anywhere from 5 to 5.5 cups of broth, individually, 1 cup at a time. The way to tell when your risotto is ready to add more broth is when you can actually pull a track through your rice and it doesn't have liquid in that track. You'll want to go ahead then and add a couple more ladles or another cup of your broth and stir again. We're going to repeat this for probably 3 more times, a total of 5 times, and then you'll want to start testing and tasting your rice to see when it's cooked to your preference. You'll also want to be testing to see if you want to add a little more salt. If you've used canned chicken stock, get the kind with no sodium added, otherwise it'll be really salty. If you make your own chicken stock, then that's the better way to do it. This is actually homemade chicken stock. As you're adding your chicken broth, you'll want to make sure that you stir your risotto quite frequently. You don't have to stir it constantly, but the reason you want to stir it is because you want each of the pieces of rice to get the same amount of heat so that they'll all cook evenly. When you are at your 3rd cup to your 4th cup of broth, that's about at the 15-minute mark. You'll want to start tasting your risotto quite frequently, because the rice then will be close to being tender to your preference. At this point, we're about at our 15-minute mark, and you can see how the rice has changed. It's puffed up, and it's got a little cream to it, a creamy texture, not real cream. And now you'll want to taste it for the doneness to see if it's to your preference or if you need to add some salt. In my case, I think we need to add just a little more kosher salt. Now, you'll also want to, because we've cooked this a little bit more, at this point, go ahead and add just a little more broth to it and stir that in. We are going to turn off the heat at this point and continue to stir your risotto so it doesn't burn. Before you cover it, you'll want to drizzle it with just a little olive oil, and now cover it and let it rest for 1 to 2 minutes.